Hallo zusammen, ich bin Gamey McFly und ich versuche es heute mal mit YouTube. Wir schauen uns heute an, der Stanley Parable in der Ultra Deluxe Version. Yay! Wunderbares Spiel, wer es nicht kennt, soll es vielleicht selber spielen, anstatt mir dazu zu schauen. Es ist eine coole Sache. Es ist was echt Außergewöhnliches. Ansonsten, wer seichte Unterhaltung will, bleibt bitte hier, schaut euch das an. Los geht's. Zunächst musste man die Uhrzeit einstellen von dem PC und sagen, ob er das Spiel schon mal gespielt hat. Ich habe dann Nein gewählt, um das ganze Spiel wieder zu spielen. Ich will an der Stelle noch nicht allzu viel verraten, außer ihr kennt es ja sowieso, dann egal.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
So, und ich denke, ab jetzt habe ich die Kontrolle. Yes, habe ich. Bam. So. Halt, stopp. Also, zuerst mal gleich wieder ein bisschen. Ja, das wird wohl das sein. Viel besser. So. Dann folgen wir mal unseren Anweisungen.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Also ab in den Meetingraum. Würde ja alles zu sein. Haben wir hier schöne Sachen. Kann ich es lesen? Nein. Also ich kann ducken, ich kann nicht mal springen. Das ist eine Frechheit. So. Schaut ja genauso aus. Da steht nichts drauf. Kann ich da rein? Nö. Schade. Ich gehe in den Meetingraum. I hate man das. Ja, wer nicht? Was haben wir hier? Sales. Okay.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay, also wir nehmen die linke Tür. Ein bisschen creepy, dass immer gleich alles zugeht. Hallo.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Also, das darf man mal nicht verändern, ohne den Whiteboard-Manager zu fragen. Wer ist Franz? Oh, sowas macht mich traurig. Also, wer sich das durchlesen, bitte hier. Das ist eine Office-Party am Freitag. Cool. Sollte man vorbeischauen. Das ist nicht kosteneffizient. Coole Sache. Everyone is unique. Das ist immer so viel sinnloses Zeug. Es ist wunderbar. Also das ist echt ein Spiel, wo die Details einfach genial sind. Kann sich jeder schön durchschauen. Yes!
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Okay, Entschuldigung. Mal rauf oder runter?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Okay. Ist das hier? Nö. Cool. Machen wir uns das Badezimmer noch. Money in the morning, money in the evening, money for breakfast. Money! Crisp. Gut. Kein Spiegelbild, schade. Ach, da sind wir also. Extreme Bathrooms. Ach, Wahnsinn. Gut. Noch könnte ich abhauen. Jetzt nicht mehr. Okay. Wir haben da einen PC, aber auch da ist ja niemand. Alles zu.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him, and so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
Yes.
Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Also können wir mal anmerken, was das für ein fettes Büro ist und wie mühsam es sein muss, diese Fenster zu putzen. Oder an ein Buch da oben zu kommen. Naja. Ein Aufzug. Kommen wir mal runter.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Okay. Ist das jetzt kaputt?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Okay. Will ich escapen schon? Eigentlich nicht, hä?
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold?
Bin ich jetzt
Stanley
Professor
thought to
Xavier?
himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Cerebro? Ich habe einen Kamerabutton und sonst nichts. Das sind ja äußerst coole Schreibtische.
Now the monitors jumped
Whoa.
to life, their true nature revealed.
Wo bin ich?
Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Das war ich 427, glaube ich, oder? Ja, das schaut nach meinem Raum aus. Da fühle ich mich wohl. Ich will dort wieder hin und einfach weiterarbeiten. Ich möchte auch einfach in Ruhe. Ein paar wurden schon gefeuert. 2. Sondern die aufführt, bitte. Lift?
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Schaut cool aus. Oh, hi.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Yes. abgedreht.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved.
Ja, wenn man
Where
das wüsste.
had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Sehr schön. Bin ich entkommen. Und ich glaube, an der Stelle ist das Spiel mal aus. Bekomme ein bisschen Errungenschaften. Ich habe das Spiel geschlagen und meine erste Errungenschaft bekommen. Dafür 2 Errungenschaften. Sehr gut. Und da dachte ich damals, sehr langweilig und wieder weg damit. Und seitdem habe ich es nicht mehr gespielt. Aber natürlich gibt es sehr viel mehr in diesem Spiel. Wir machen jetzt einfach genau das Gleiche.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Vermutlich.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Und ich weiche nicht von meinem Pfad ab.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
So, da direkt rein.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Oder muss ich es eingeben? Ich hätte mir da jetzt schon gedacht, dass ich es...
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Gut, also muss ich da rein. Gut gemacht. Ja.
2845.
Ja.
Getting
Wie ungeduldig sie auch
simply
werden.
pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
Na bitte.
Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Diesmal werde ich allerdings die Mind-Control-Maschine aufdrehen und schauen, was passiert. Sie haben, glaube ich, echt alle Eventualitäten abgedeckt. Also eben auch jetzt, wo ich den Code falsch eingegeben habe oder einfach nicht eingegeben habe. Gesehen davon, die Stimme ist einfach
Stanley
so cool.
walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
So werde ich das machen. Also bis dahin war alles wieder gleich. Nichts anders gemacht. Aber diesmal drehe ich sie auf. Und dann schauen wir, was passiert.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After
So?
they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are?
Yep.
A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you, running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones, or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is?
Nope.
Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
Tot. Hätte ich was tun können? Ich weiß es nicht. Und genau das ist das Spannende an dem Spiel. Man weiß nicht, was alles geht. Und ich finde das so herrlich. Und hier sind wir wieder. Aber wir sind voll gestorben, eigentlich. Hätte was eingeben? Los, lass uns weiterarbeiten. Tun einfach so, als wäre nichts passiert. Okay. Dann
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Vermutlich. Also wir gehen ja jetzt wieder in den Meetingraum. Und diesmal gehen wir...
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he
Machen wir
entered
es
the
nochmal
door
und dann
on
gehen wir
his
zum
left.
Escape. So machen wir das.
The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not a living soul anywhere. Could he really be all alone? This was too much for Stanley to take. Too much for any man to take. He fell to his knees, bursting into half. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy. So he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Genau solche Kleinigkeiten sind einfach so herrlich. Bin jetzt einfach durchgelaufen und habe den Code eingegeben, weit bevor er ihn gesagt hat.
And rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Danke sehr.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read
Nope.
Mind Control Facility. Although
Escape.
this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Okay. Leicht beunruhigt.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Interessiert mich nicht.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Gehe ich jetzt wirklich drauf? Nein, ich fall noch immer. Wow. Bisschen so
As the
Alien-Vibes.
machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Ich bin dagegen. Ich kann aber nicht hüpfen. Ich kann nichts tun. Oh.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Or not. Yay. Bitte was?
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was
Landschaft.
already dead from the moment he hit start?
Dieser Plan zeigt das Büro vom Spielanfang. Der Weg von Stanleys Büro zu den beiden Türen war der erste Teil des Spiels, der gebaut wurde. Im Laufe der Entwicklung wurden Abschnitte hinzugefügt und verändert, aber der Grundriss ist fast identisch zum ersten Durchlauf. Cool. Das heißt, ich kann da sowieso nirgendwo rein. Schaut, da ist unser Büro. Eigentlich recht groß, oder? Besser als nur so eine Ecke. Die zwei offenen Türen waren der erste konkrete Teil des Designs. Als dieser Raum erstellt worden war, entwickelte sich der Rest des Spiels als eine Erweiterung davon. Eine Erkundung des Widerspruchs, den dieser Raum darstellte. Oh. Was haben wir hier noch? Den Gang. Es war wichtig, das Spieltempo in diesem ersten Abschnitt richtig einzustellen. Dieser Korridor wurde verschoben und verändert, um sicherzustellen, dass der Spieler die beiden Türen in einer guten Zeit erreicht. Na bitte. Was haben wir hier noch? Aktenschränke. Cool. Ich mag Aktenschränke. Ah, solitär. Schön die Credits. Sehr cool. Der Typ, der das rausgebracht hat, der Davey, Reeden, wie auch immer man das ausspricht. Das Ganze entstand aus einem Mod, wenn ich es richtig in Erinnerung habe. Und ich glaube, wie das rausgekommen ist, war der Typ 22. Und hat sowas gemacht. Ziemlich cool eigentlich. Und auch mehr so als Experiment und als in seinen Anfängen halt. Ziemlich cool. Das Büro. Irgendwo rein? Nö. 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 Knopfgeräusche. Eine Auswahl an Geräuschen, die im gesamten Spiel beim Drücken der Knöpfe verwendet werden. Jedes Geräusch ist eine Mischung aus einem Tastaturanschlag und einem künstlichen Ton. Cool. Schauen wir mal, wo wir da so hinkommen. Das Büro. Der Wartungsraum. Ja, ja, da waren wir überall. Ah, wisst's noch? Damals, vor 10 Minuten circa. Schlachtfeld. Okay. Schon früh in der Entwicklung haben wir ein Ende entworfen, bei dem Stanley auf einem Schlachtfeld landet und gegen Aliens kämpft. Das Actionspiel sollte empfindungsfähig werden und Krieg gegen den Erzähler führen. Kurz nachdem wir mit der Entwicklung begonnen hatten, merkten wir, dass das viel zu witzig und zu kurz gedacht war für den Charakter des Spiels. Außerdem wurde es von manchen Leuten so interpretiert, dass das Spiel sich über Leute lustig macht, die Ego-Shooter mögen, was nicht unsere Absicht war. Okay. Das schaut ziemlich nach Tron aus hier. Fun. Geld? Ich will Geld. Also ich muss da noch sehr, sehr viel spielen. Noch mehr vom Büro. Erzähler-E-Mails. Nach dem zweiten Trailer haben wir die Leute darum gebeten, dem Erzähler Fragen per E-Mail zu schicken. Obwohl wir diese für weiteres Promo-Material eingeplant hatten, haben wir keine perfekten Anwendungen dafür gefunden. Hier sind einige dieser E-Mails. Gut, werde ich mir jetzt nicht geben. Kommt mal dahin. Habe ich jetzt schon viel zu viel gefunden? Was? In einer früheren Version der Entscheidung, die zum Apartment-Ende geführt hat. Was für ein Apartment-Ende? Das ist voll der Spoiler hier. Hat ein Timer dann 15 Sekunden sagen, das ist okay. Wenn man nicht ans Telefon gegangen ist, hat sich das am anderen Ende geführt. Okay. Was? Gut. Ich kriege langsam das Gefühl, ich bin da schon wo gelandet, wo ich eventuell noch gar nicht sein sollte. Oder doch? Man weiß es nicht. Darum werde ich mir das gar nicht mehr so genau anschauen. Aber wie komme ich da wieder raus? Ja, das kenne ich wieder. Das hier zumindest. Was? Countdown Schreibtisch. Okay. Ah. Verdammt, wollte ich drücken. Na gut.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
Tot. Mal wieder. Aber ich finde es herrlich. Ich weiß jetzt nicht, ob ich da schon hätte hinkommen sollen, aber ich nehme es an. Oder auch nicht. Hätte ich da jetzt schon was lernen können für meine nächsten Versuche? Jetzt bin ich wieder hier. Naja, wir werden es rausfinden. Für heute beende ich dieses Video an der Stelle. Nächstes Mal gehen wir mal durch die rechte Tür. Da sind wir dann ein bisschen rebellisch, hätte ich gesagt. Mir macht das Spiel sehr, sehr viel Spaß. Ich hoffe, euch auch. Und wir sehen uns dann beim nächsten Mal wieder mit der Stanley Parable. Ich bin Gamey McFly. Tschüss.